Hi, I'm Fred Eichler, and I'm excited to share with you some of the most amazing footage, iconic footage really, of a bow hunt ever captured. And that's of Fred Bear shooting his absolute giant Kodiak brown bear. This was in 1962. Fred was shooting a 1959 Bear Kodiak recurve. It was a 60-inch bow. It was 65 pounds at 28 inches. So it was a pretty heavy bow. Fred was out to do something absolutely incredible, not only to try and take a giant Kodiak brown bear with a recurve, but also to capture it on video. And when I think about the challenges that I face today, they are nothing compared to the challenges that those guys were facing. Not only when you think of their equipment, but when you think of the camera equipment even. They were videoing with something that they call a one-reeler. A one-reeler is a video camera, no electricity. This is a wind-up camera that you could maybe get 12 to 15 minutes of video with. So if you started videoing at the wrong time or ran down the reel, you were done. And it's not like you could tell the animal to just hold on a minute, let me rewind or crank up this camera again. So think about that as you're watching this footage. They also didn't have audio, and they were trying to do something unbelievable, and they did. This footage is iconic for a lot of reasons. To me, one, I love that Fred shares everything. He shares them pulling up crab traps, them shooting and practicing in the water. He shows them digging up clams, like with his buddy Bob Munger. They also showed things like fox on the beach. They showed Fred grabbing a shotgun, and he went out and shot some geese, and they come back and Fred's got a shotgun and a couple geese. He was there for the adventure, but also to share the adventure.
On they cruise through the vast and majestic waterways.
Fred is on a boat the Valiant made. He had hunted with Ed, the guide, before, and he was back to try and get a really big brown bear. Fred had taken brown bears in the past, but this time he was hoping to get a big one. And that is exactly what happened. I think if Fred could have scripted it out, he probably would have rather had the bear a little bit farther away. What ended up happening is this incredible bear comes walking down the beach. And I've tried to put myself in Fred's mind on this. But as they run down to the rock, the cameraman's behind them, and they can obviously see that the bear's coming. Now Fred's left-handed, so if the bear comes around the other side of the rock, he's got his guide right there. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. But the bear was 7 yards away. It was 20 feet. It's literally right on top of him. Imagine, like, this giant 800+ pound bear, you've got a recurve bow, and there's nothing between you and the bear. And what I love about this footage is you see Fred communicating with his cameraman. You could see him, imagine the adrenaline that's going through him. He's got to be just going nuts, but you could see him waving his hand around like, this bear's, he's coming. Imagine the pressure even on the cameraman, like, oh my gosh, I got to get this, and I don't want to get eaten. I mean, you got to think the cameraman was thinking that too, right? This is a huge bear, he's really close. It's not like they had great zoom lenses back then. I guarantee the cameraman's in range of the bear. The bear comes around, and Fred is an animal. He draws back and makes this incredible shot on this bear. Well, Fred Bear got his huge bear, and it was so incredible. When this came out on TV, I mean, it was one of those things, nobody could believe it. It was amazing. And the fact that a man named Mr. Bear had taken a giant bear with a recurve bow. It was incredible. It made you think anything could be taken with a bow and arrow. And that's exactly what Fred was out to prove. What was really neat to me is that he influenced not only me, but so many other people.
There can be few more thrilling moments in hunting than to find a huge downed bear, almost 1,000 pounds in weight, and regard the prize trophy with a mixture of triumph and true humility.